in a bit. I'll do an announcement.
Cool. We're live, right, Louis?
Yeah, we are.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to another rendition of the Plasmo live stream where we kind of try to demo and show what we've been working on this week. We got some kind of exciting stuff happening this week, kind of behind the scenes that we won't be able to show, unfortunately, this live stream because it's not ready. But there's a bunch of other cool stuff that we're definitely ready to show, and really, really excited to go ahead with that. So, yeah, Louis, you want to talk a little bit about sort of the stable name stuff?
Yeah. So let me pull up the release note. Plasma release. Where is it? All the way to our GitHub. We actually have a couple release, but let's go back to the VR. So stable naming is one of the new kind of feature that people have been talking about. So the key feature here is that when you bundling right now, when we bundle our extension, let me just show it right here on the code as well. So here we have a couple of projects, and if I go to, for example, let's say with pops up, for example, or let's do it with Stripe. If you go to build and the dev, you will see there's a popup.html with a bunch of hashing, which is a bunch of hash. So the hash is made to uniquely identifying the asset. And the idea is that we're using parser underneath. And when parser bundle our asset, it have a flat directory tree for any file that's being added into the kind of virtual file system behind parser. So when I spit out the final bundle, you can either basically right. The previous behavior is that the popup.html would have a hash on its name, but this turned out to be quite a bit of a problem with using either. So one thing is, for example, the React refresh wrapper does not work at all. The runtime for React refresh, that does not work because every time that you change a pops up, this file, the hash will change, the hash mutate. And that basically invalidating and destroying your like library loading for at least option page. The option page would refresh. It's kind of the page, the hash. So it's not very. So basically, it's not very stable. It is cause a lot of trouble for people. So this is a previous behavior. Now the new behavior, you can see it in with source, for example. So in Chrome MV3 dev, we can see now that pops up. There's something in my mouth. Saw some hair. So we see pops up, new tab, option are all now. It doesn't have a hash anymore. It's still referencing the JavaScript that has a hash into it, but the entry file has no hash. So this will actually allowing the option page to have more stable library loading. And we can actually experimenting and adding the React refresh kind of runtime back to parser and experimenting to see if it actually works or not and stuff like that. Because previously we had to remove it because it caused some issue. So it might be a good time to put it back in and test it out, see what's up with the stable name.
So the last time the React refresh stuff was when we were bumping the parcel major version, right? And then it was giving us like an issue where it said like import scripts is not defined or something like that.
That is actually within. I don't think that's in the React HTML runtime. I believe. I think. Or was it? React refresh, the React refresh runtime, I think is separated from the web extension kind of a transformer. I think a web extension transformer used to have a bug in parser 2.6 that it take in the background script, right? And it used a wrong import statement. It wasn't using import module for some reason. Yeah, but
Okay.
I don't think it has anything to do with the React refresh, as far as I know. The React refresh runtime.
Mm-hmm.
So the React refresh runtime would only be triggered when there's a React kind of instance on that bundle. Basically, if you
So,
import React,
so one of the things I think is kind of cool with this is like, when we think about sort of why does Parcel have this? I think one of the things, I mean, it's like very useful in the case that like, I don't know, let's say you have like two index.html files for some reason, or you have like two of the same name in different directories. Since like this get bundled all in one directory, as you were saying, like that's why this is necessary. But like we know that there's only going to be one pop-up.html, and we know that that's like the entry file for our pop-up. So there's no need for it to even hash, right?
precisely, yeah. And with this developer can actually query these pages. It's a stable name, so they can query the page and do stuff that they used to do. A lot of people actually manually query these pages for some of their use cases. Yeah, stuff like
Right.
that.
Yeah, and by query you mean like they actually browse to that URL, right? On
Yeah,
the browser.
they either browse through the URL, they use the Chrome get URL. Yeah,
And if this wasn't a thing that we just implemented, they would constantly have to like find the new URL, and it's like super annoying, right? Like with the
yeah,
options page, for
yeah. They have to do that, or they have to do the trick, right? There's a trick in parser runtime that does that. They do the try and catch thing to try to get the path, but I don't think that's a good kind of a you know solution.
yeah, it's a hack, right?
It's a hack. All right, so that
And
is pretty much.
Louis, the other thing I was curious about was like, there was one community member that I think actually had some experience working with Parcel,
Uh-huh.
and they suggested that we use a plugin that will do static names, right? So if
Yeah.
you explore that.
So so that person actually the author of that Namer plugin. They
Oh,
call
okay,
this.
cool.
Yeah. That's so they want us to integrating the plugin. So it's a Namer plugin. One of the issue with Namer plugin in Parcel is, so if you look at the Parcel config, the config. Uh, so here's our current config right now. So the Parcel config for Namer is actually a list array. So basically, Parcel Namer has kind of it's just keep on propagating the you know every asset get passed through this array of namer until there's a certain condition. Okay, take that and apply the naming and then move on, or and then return the name or return no to move on to the next one. The problem is we want specifically we want to control the bundle, and we don't want to have a kind of generic light. If you put the namer the the namer plugin in here though, it actually is not it's not very selective. It's more of a it's always casual. So the namer plugin should only I think is only useful when you try to do kind of uh, from dev tooling, basically from the Plasma layer. So right now, Plasma is using this namer plugin to name our manifest. So we actually are not generating. We are now generating the file called plasma.manifest.json, and so that is a valid use case to renaming the plasma manifest to the manifest.json, the final name. But the use case of hey, we have certain file that we have certain field in our manifest, and we want it to have stable name. that's actually supported by Parcel itself, right? So within Parcel, so the way to do it is right now we have this manifest transformer that reading into our Plasmo manifest, right? And it parses through every single asset. So here we have the handle deep LOC, deep location. So this basically, so the deep LOC, this is a fork of the original Parcel web transformer, web extension transformer, right? But we add a lot of stuff into it. We also make it into TypeScript. We don't want to use Flow because, not to take anyone but Flow sucks. Oh, in my opinion. Opinion. Oh. But anyway, yeah, TypeScript for the win. Basically, we have this kind of a traversing kind of dependency traversal. And then, so as you can see here, this code here basically just crawl through our manifest into basically dot icon, dot browser action, dot default icon, right? Dot default pulse up, dot whatever, right? It just traverse through that the uh, the leaf node of each dependency of each what is it, kind of entry file, right? And then add them. So basically, this would be the icon. This would be like the HTML page for a pops up, and this would be like the script page, the script source for background, and option UI, so on and so forth. And so we would add them as ERL dependencies, right? And so Parcel actually has its own kind of a built-in. The default namer for Parcel already have the flag to say, hey, I will like this thing to have stable naming, meaning don't change the name. So the feature already inside. It's just that you have to configure Parcel and also tell it or tell the transformer informing the final bundle that, hey, I want this name to be stable. So let me check out let me just check out 158. Here we go. So in the PR, we simply take the extension of the current file we're trying to add to the bundle. And if it is HTML, which is usually the way, so right now we're only supporting, right now our kind of our template is HTML. So for our template, we simply just check if it is HTML. We say, hey, we need stable neighborhood. That's it. And that's all. And the default Parcel namer would know to check the need stable name, and we'll put it where we want it to be. Yeah.
That makes sense. So rather than using a namer plugin, we use a transformer plugin, and we just simply utilize the existing Parcel namer because they offer this extensibility of having a need stable name.
Yeah, and then if for the end user who want to use a scheme, right, to like importing asset, you're gonna use the raw scheme or the URL scheme. That would give you like a unique kind of URL for your asset already. Yeah. So this is really just for the internal working of Plasmo and Parcel. Basically, just for the Plasmo framework in terms of how we transforming the assets. Yeah.
So if I were to import an HTML file using the URL scheme, and then I import another one in a different directory with the same name, would it give me a hash?
It's still giving you a hash at the moment, yes.
All right. So like dynamic imports, not dynamic, but you know what I mean, like import statements people make. Yeah.
For example, like the dev. So I actually tried this out on the dev tooling with DevTools. So I take a look at the build. Here we go. So dev2 is .html no hash. The font picker has a hash.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's exactly what we want, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think in the future we can actually do nested stuff. So I'm pretty excited about implementing that. So there's a new PR or a new issue that we are thinking about supporting the tabs directory. Basically, the idea is that if you put any entry file in tabs directory, we transform it into the tabs inside your final bundle with like index.html, index.html, and index.tsx. Yeah, and that'll be fun, hopefully.
So, what is this like? How is this different than pages?
This is
Or
yeah.
not pages, content scripts, like content, or like pop up.
This is yeah, not even pops up, but mainly like for people who want to use Chrome create page, for example.
Oh, this is like for people to have their own like little tabs.
Yeah, this could basically allow them. So we can do this for both tabs and panel, maybe. So now instead of having to set up this scaffolding right now with the dev tool, we have to do the panels with the HTML index, right?
Right.
Imagine in the future, you just have a panel with just the index, font picker.txx, and you're good to go. You don't need to do all this index HTML scaffolding anymore. So that's kind of the idea for this PR, for the for the kind of for the issue for the RFC. I think it's yeah, and since we already have this kind of namer and it's have a stable naming and stuff like that, so adding support for the tab directory shouldn't be hard in the future. Yeah, we'll probably likely adding that in a bit. So I think one of the higher ticket that we're working on though is actually the manifesting the initializing a Plasmo project from a existing manifest. So either moving from MV3 or MV2, stuff like that. People can now start using Plasmo to transforming their current project to Plasmo. So
Yeah, it's one of those things where like, one of the things we're thinking about with Plasma as a framework is sort of like want to make it as easy as possible for someone that might be an experienced React developer, experienced person, Svelte, whatever. They can jump right into building extensions very easily with the Plasma framework. But now we want to take it a step further, where we want to actually make it so that you can use this tool that we're going to build and like show it your existing extension that's not with the Plasma framework, and and it could even be in a manifest version 2 kind of state. And then our tool will kind of magically figure out everything that needs to happen for it to convert to a manifest version 3 and a Plasma framework extension. So exciting stuff coming.
yep, let's try it. Yeah, let's hope we can get this done in a week or so. Yeah, that's in a week or so, right? Quote unquote.
Well, time flies like an arrow. Fruit flies like a banana.
All right.
So,
Okay.
yeah, that's awesome. Louis, anything else on your end that you want to demo?
Yeah, so we have a couple PR from actually contributor. So we have Kurolox, Carlos, Carlos. So we have Carlos.
Ooh, thanks, Carlos.
Yeah.
What did Carlos do?
So there's a bug in the template for React 18. So basically, there's a missing import React statement in the React 18 kind of a page. Yeah, is that in as well? Because most of the page already have it. Yeah. Let's hope that it doesn't break people's stuff. If it's break, well, we'll see. So we have that, and we also have 0.52.6. We have two contributor. We have Pavel, Lux, Lucinov, is how you pronounce it. Although I'm not watching it. And we have Manthan, Mallikarjun. All right, so one of them added the warning message when there's an entry point. Basically, if you don't have any dev tool, no new tab, no pops up, no option, or no content strip, or no background strip, the warning will pops up and saying, "Hey, you might have an empty extension." And then the other person initializing the PR to adding tab multiple icon for for Plasma. So now we can actually add like icon.development, icon.production. We're also now supporting a more wider range of icon naming. For example, right now we only do icon 512. You can actually just rename it to icon. You don't even need to have like the 512. So it can be any size, and then we will shrink it down to the appropriate size. We can also do icon 120 1024. There's actually I think we'll add some documentation on this, but the comment on this, yeah, I should have a list of that. So basically, you can do what is it? Icon 512, icon dash 512, icon dash 512 x 512, which is kind of a couple of convention that designer or people might have been using. So this would help like a lot of people just transitioning the asset over and don't have to worry too much about copying or naming. Some fun stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that PR was very, very impactful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's like, and also, we just want to highlight that the fallback method is a very, very smart way to handling that for sure. Like falling back from going all the way from like kind of like development all the way to production makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think eventually we want to actually figure out a way to. I think people want to marking more environment. Actually, I think the node environment is not enough actually for some people.
Can you say it again?
Like for some people, the node environment is not enough for
Oh, I
some.
see.
Yeah.
So what
We'll
do
see.
people propose?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard. But I've seen that people want to have some way to marking that extension as dev version, right? Yeah. So maybe we can arm it that marker thing. So we can mark it. We can mark the icon. We can mark the mark the extension, right? So when they do like PMPM Plasma build, we would have dash dash marker or a dash dash, I don't know, something like that, right? And then we include them in all of the asset, and so they have something to distinguish between
Yeah.
the other version of the extension. Yeah, I think that's actually one of the valuable kind of feature that we can add in the future.
Yeah, I think like one of the things that is very common in sort of like standard software engineering is like, you got your different like environment, staging, development, prod, and
Yeah,
then from what I've seen in various places I've worked in the past, sometimes like the dev like front end is going to have a yellow background rather than a white one, just so
yeah,
you're always in dev. And I think from what we talked about, one piece of extension trivia for those who are not so into this world is you'll likely have a staging and prod and potentially a dev extension, and each of them will have a different icon. That way you can like just very clearly visually figure out like, okay, this is dev, this is, so it's in the same ways. The background in front end, it's icon in extension. So that's kind of the idea. So yeah, I think that would be awesome if we can just make that really easy for people.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think people don't really care too much about how they want to style their depth of staging icon, right? So if the Plasma framework can just automate that, I think that would just reduce the amount of time people wasting on this type of stuff.
Yeah, well, I think we can have like a little mask, right? We can just
Yeah.
put a mask.
We can also I think we can literally just do some transforming, right? Using Sharp, add a crossing or add some kind of border around that thing. That'd be fun. Something like that. I don't know. Yeah. All right. Anyway, that is. I think that's kind of a wrap up. Anything else you want to?
Yeah, yeah, no, it's my turn to demo some cool stuff now.
All right.
So yeah, I got some. It's sort of going to be like a live. Wait, why can't I screen share? Oh, there it is.
All right.
Live kind of demo. Everything might break. It's still in work in progress.
All right.
So we'll see. But I have high hopes.
All right. Are you screen sharing?
Yeah, I'm screen sharing twice or what? Yeah, I am.
Let me. Nope. No.
Here, let me restart the
All right. Thank you.
screen share. So, okay. I think there's a little time lag. All right. Do you see my screen now?
Annoying. Okay, here we go. Let me kick
Oh,
myself
yeah.
first.
All
So
right.
I kick myself, and then what the hell? Oh my god.
So maybe while Louis is in the background yelling, I can talk a little bit about what I'm presenting. So the excitement increases and there's a lot of drama. Will Louis be able to share
Okay,
the
hang
screen?
on.
Will he not? We'll find out on next episode of Dragon Ball Z. There we go. We got it. All right.
Almost. Almost. I have to resize this freaking screen. Aha, come
Yeah.
on.
So I'm gonna be demoing Frida, which is we kind of talked about Frida a little bit on the last stream, but it's this like toolkit that makes it super easy to inject into processes, and it's really exciting because when you think about an extension, that looks like an iPhone screen. Unfortunately, I'm on Mac. Didn't bring my iPhone this time. Uh, yeah. So, uh, did you click on iPhone preset or something?
Nope, there's none. Alright, here we go.
Oh,
Alright,
okay. Oh,
I
you
think
got
that's
it.
presentable.
Oh, there it is. All right. Hello, folks. Okay, let's go to terminal. So yeah, there's this thing called Frida. Frida's pretty cool. It lets you inject into processes. And if you think about it, it's like a fancy, they're fancy extensions, these Frida scripts. So let me just run this real quick, and then we will go into what it took to build it. I'm running this thing. It's going to open up Sigma OS. Oh, there we go. Wow, that's a lot of random stuff. Not sure what this is. We'll just minimize it. But anyway, so here we open up Sigma OS. So to those who aren't in the know, Sigma OS is the latest cool browser built by friends of Plasmo. And one of the things that we're doing is sort of like thinking about how can we better make Sigma OS cooler by doing cool stuff with extensions using Plasmo stuff. So that probably didn't make any sense, but it will in the month or two. So in this case, one of the things that I really wanted to do was like, we have Sigma OS here, and it's pretty cool. But what if we can actually inject into the process and have the web view inject JavaScript into the web view, like the main web view of the browser. And without Frida, which is the toolkit I was talking about, check it out. It's really cool. This would be really, really, really difficult. But with Frida, it's actually pretty simple. So let me just run this again in case you missed it. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this like really long command. All it's going to do is it's going to run Frida. Here, let me make it a lot bigger. It's going to run Frida, which is this like command line interface. We give it a file. So I'm giving it the Sigma OS binary. I'm telling it, hey, don't pause when you start, because usually Frida pauses right away. And then I'm going to say like, hey, here's this file that I want you to execute and inject into this Sigma OS process. So when I run that, it's going to spawn this process, and then it's going to actually like execute my JavaScript. What's this? Looks like there was some error. So I think it's a little bit flaky, unfortunately, but let's see. Okay, so you guys saw that it worked before. So that is proof that it works. Unfortunately, it is not working anymore. I didn't change anything though. That's weird.
Maybe
Oh, there
after
it
you.
is.
Okay. Yes.
I think probably what was happening, I don't know, this is my best guess, is a race condition. So I need to fix that. But yeah, so here, hello world. So this is actually an alert. So let's dig into the code and show you guys like what's going on here. So in Frida, you actually write JavaScript, and specifically, you actually can write TypeScript, which is really cool. And you can basically manipulate Frida using TypeScript. So in this case, what I have here is, let's ignore this for a second. So I'm just gonna minimize that. And let's focus on this blah, which is this interval. So I'm running it every second. And what I'm saying is Objective-C available? So if we run, one of the cool things about Frida is it gives you a REPL as well if you don't want to run a script. So let's like set the REPL up. So we just ran Sigma OS, and now we are inside the Sigma process. So now we can do really cool stuff. Like we can be like Objective-C classes, and then okay, there's like sometimes when errors pop up, it's kind of annoying. But yeah, these are all of the classes, Objective-C classes that Frida was able to extract from the process. Like, it's super amazing. So now what you can do is within the memory, and then actually like and then be able to WebKit web view. So I want the WebKit web view, and I'm passing that into Objective-C choose. So what this does is it actually gives me, it actually scans the memory, looks for this class. Whenever it finds one, it calls this callback function onMatch, and then it gives me the instance here. And this is all TypeScript. It's really cool. So now what I can do is I can say, okay, I have this instance called A, and I want to evaluate JavaScript completion handler. So this is an Objective-C function. And I can actually call Objective-C functions from within TypeScript in the injected process this way. And I just pass in the string of JavaScript that I want to inject inside. And then I give it this completion handler. So the cool thing about Frida is you can actually like create Objective-C blocks, which are, I think, kind of like objects. So in this case, we're giving it like a little JSON blob. And what we're giving is like, we want the return time to be void. What are the argument types, object and pointer? So that's what this is. This is an object and this is a pointer. And then what we're going to do is we're not going to like, we don't care about like what this returns. We just clear the interval, so we don't run this anymore. And then that's it. So it's like really, really simple code. And you can do really cool stuff. So one of the things that I'm working on at the moment is like, it would be so cool if we can actually take console messages from this WebKit web view and do cool stuff with them. Like maybe we send them off to a server, maybe we store it locally for parsing, stuff like that. So I've been playing around with that. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to actually get it to work, but the general idea is like the same thing, right? Here we have this thing where whenever there's a console log, we're actually going to call this capture log function instead. So we're kind of like monkey patching the console log. And here there's this really cool thing that that Objective-C gives you, which is this like message handling stuff. So that way, like you can actually you can create a web view, and then you can pass it some sort of like function to say like, hey, if there's ever a message, call this function from within. So like that way your web view code can interact with your Objective-C or Swift code. So that's kind of what we're doing here. And the cool thing about Frida is you can actually allocate memory. So here we're taking a class, WK user script. So like this might exist, like there might be instances of this on the app, but like we don't care. We want to actually create a new one. And then we're saying that we want to inject it into the mainframe. And then like we're doing other stuff, which is really cool. But at the end of the day, like the idea is like we want to inject this into the process, into the web view, and then we want to be able to capture the output. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now. And one of the things I've been thinking about a lot is like, what if you can actually like kind of abstract this stuff a little bit more, and that way like people can actually build extensions of any app on their computer. And unfortunately, that is probably not possible, and that's because of security reasons. So, for example, in this case, like Frida injects into applications. But if you notice, like when we go to my terminal, when I'm like running this, I'm actually running this random binary that I actually created and not the official Sigma binary on my, because like I have a Sigma binary in my applications folder, but like if I try to run that with Sigma, it would actually fail because like the actual like operating system, like the Mac OS operating system, does not allow me to inject into applications in this like sacred folder, unfortunately. So there's a bunch of like limitations with this, but it's really cool. So I just wanted to show some of the stuff that we've been working on there.
Yeah. I wonder if the abstraction of Frida could be just moving it to just do the unsigning and self signing and just spawn the process, right?
Yeah, I think like for tinkerers and people that really want to like like make their whole like workflows really cool and stuff like that, I think that would be very useful. Uh, One of the things that's like really tricky to me is like I don't think the general public would kind of like understand, like to do all that and then be. I think they would be kind of like too cautious to do that stuff, but potentially.
Mm.
I think it's one of the things we've noticed, right? Like a lot of the stuff that we're building is sort of like it's so tricky because like it's not really the intended way, but like it works and it's like very useful, and that's the only way you can do it. And it's like such a delicate balance. I think, I mean, even the stuff around like MV2 to MV3, right? Like the whole idea of MV3 was supposed to be like want to make things more secure and stuff. So yeah, it's always really tricky. The dichotomy between security and performance, or like usability, or all the other good stuff that security removes. But I'm a cybersecurity guy, so maybe I should be talking more about how good cybersecurity is.
All right.
Cool. Louis, you got any other cool stuff up your sleeve?
Um. Well, I think that's about. Well, maybe you should show the. I don't know. Maybe the. It's not ready yet. We'll do it next week.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, more stuff to show next week then.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, everyone that was watching, thanks for watching. Let us know if you got any feedback on anything that we've been building this week, or if you have any like kind of PRs, send them our way.
Oh
We'd
wait.
love
By
to
the
see
way,
them.
last week
Thanks.
did I?
Yeah,
Last week did I demo the WASM? Is it?
I believe so.
Okay. You saw it,
I
right? You
think
saw it.
so. Let me look at. I did see it, yeah, but I'm not sure if you showed it to me like individually.
Okay. Well. Yeah. So it's right here actually.
Yeah, you did. You did. Yeah,
You did.
yeah.
Did I
I just
demo it
checked.
though? Did
Yeah.
I actually run it? Did I run it?
Um, let's see.
Yeah, I run it. Okay. Never mind. All right. Never mind.
VM meetup. So should be exciting to talk about Zig and all the other cool stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Hey guys, next Friday, or not next Friday. I keep thinking these things are on Friday, but we moved them to Monday. Next Monday, stay tuned because we have some exciting stuff, and potentially more Zig stuff. And if you want to contribute on the Zig stuff, let us know. I mean, we might, Louis, it might be a good idea to set up like a Zig sort of like Wasm dedicated channel. I think it would be interesting to kind of discuss about this stuff and have a dedicated channel on our Discord about that. So
Sure.
look out for that if we go ahead and build that, put it out. But yeah, should be exciting stuff. So anyway, that's all from our end. See you next Monday.
See y'all.